Coming back to Gauteng now, the MEC for Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, MEC Mamabolo, recently launched the festive season safety plan. The province was third last year with about 208 crashes, which resulted into 219 fatalities. The province has also seen taxi violence in recent days, wherein 5 people were killed, 9 injured, including a policeman in 3 separate incidents in an alleged dispute over taxi routes in Olievenhoutbosch. The MEC has been having meetings with the taxi industry to ensure the safety of commuters this festive season. He joins us now in studio to elaborate further on this matters. Good afternoon to you, MEC. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good afternoon to you, and thanks for the opportunity.
All right, so we're going to start with the festive season plan that you launched last week. What does it entail?
So last week, together, in partnership with the taxi industry in the province, we launched our provincial road safety campaign. We started early in the morning on Friday, 7 o'clock in the morning on N12 along just next to what is called Impala Road. In Soweto. We also, at 9 o'clock same day, we went to Grasmere, where we also interacted with motorists at a roadblock. And we had other 5 areas in the province, starting from 2 o'clock same day up until 6 o'clock in the evening. So starting on Friday last week, we have been almost all over the province. The following day, on Saturday, we took over the sites in Tshwane, just on the Bakwena toll plazas. That's where we're also interacting with motorists. So our strategy for road safety is 2-pronged. Firstly, we're looking at law enforcement. Law enforcement seeks to ensure that motorists comply with the laws regulating safety on the roads, and they comply. The second part includes public education. Public education in the sense that we need to talk to motorists and road users, not only motorists.
Even pedestrians are dying.
Yes, yeah. To change behavior, but most importantly, motorists, because in almost all the accidents, the driver of a vehicle is in charge of the steering, makes decisions, and finally everything rest with the driver. So we are talking to them because law enforcement on its own is not adequate enough to be able to make sure that we reduce the statistics that we have just seen, which are unacceptably too high. Yeah. So in the public education part, we have seen, and this is the feedback we have practically seen in the work we're doing, most people using the road, motorists, are not really aware or take for granted a number of critical issues that determine road safety. Practical example, if you say to people you need to check the tires of your car,
they know, but they don't do it.
Yeah, they don't do it.
Yeah, they don't.
Tire pressure. And the experts in November beginning, we held a provincial road safety seminar in which experts and practitioners and people that are researchers in the space, all of them agree that if your car tire pressure is not well balanced, you have lost a good part of control over the car. That point, people ignore it. Another one, check your mirrors every 8 seconds. It helps you to focus on the road, avoid using cell phone. It gives you absolute control on the road. People are not aware of that.
And those are the things that we know, as you say, as drivers, MEC. And you also speak of drivers' behavior and attitudes. Just yesterday, we had the Road Traffic Management Corporation on the show, who is basically saying that more than 1,600 motorists have been arrested nationally since the start of this festive season for various offences, including drinking and driving. So this certainly shows that there's still a long way to go. You speak of things that we know of, but we don't know. We don't do. We don't know that we're not allowed to drink and drive, and yet people are still doing it.
The challenge there, and I think the message about drink and drive, I absolutely agree, is a message that people are fully aware that it's wrong to drink and drive is still done. The essential question here is that we have unfortunately a terrible culture in our country where people think when you drive on the road, compliance with the laws and doing everything that's supposed to be done and avoiding what's not supposed to be done. We seem to be thinking that we're driving for the police. So we play hide and seek with the police. We have got to change that. We need a fundamental paradigm shift from people understanding you're not driving to please the police.
You're saving your own life.
You are saving your own life, and that's what we need to make sure that people understand, because it is easy for people to believe that for as long as they are not caught, they can play hide and seek with the police. But if we educate and educate, the other part which we are doing this time in our message is we are also talking about passenger activism, because passengers can also play an active role rather than a passive role. If you are a passenger and you get into a car of a person that you know has been drinking, you are also putting your own life at risk. So we need passengers that will also help with oversight against drinking.
All right, quickly, we've run out of time, but I just want to touch on the meetings that you've been having with the taxi industries. Let's talk about that. Most importantly, Olievenhoutbosch was in the news the past few weeks, where people lost their lives as well.
So it is true, let me say to the viewers, it's true that last week we have had a series of meetings. On Friday, this was after we approached the court to say to the court, help us implement extraordinary measures on the taxis fighting in Olieven. We have seen since that period, there's not been any loss of life, fatalities in the area. So the violence has subsided. So what we have been trying to do... Has it subsided, or is it gone? Were you able to intervene in that regard? In the sense that there's no violence since we intervened, but the intervention measures are ongoing. Like last week, Friday, we had a very good meeting with them. We had another meeting just yesterday in which we're trying to broker a final settlement that will make sure that violence come to an end. So we had a good meeting yesterday, but the court has actually asked us to come back to report tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be filing papers with the court to say to them, how did the discussions go? There are still gray areas that we need to finalize. One of them, for example, is between ourselves as the provincial government and the city of Tshwane. There are matters on which we need to compare notes, because municipalities play a role in determining routes and ourselves, and there's something outstanding there that will sort out. But for now, I'd like to say to the viewers, the taxi violence, particularly in Olieven, has returned to a very remarkable state in the sense that it's not continuous.
So it's safe for commuters to use
We
taxis.
also had a discussion last week with community leaders, and they've also confirmed that the situation is stable and calm whilst we are trying to find a solution. Another, just today, we have just signed an hour ago before I came here, an agreement with two associations in the city of Ekurhuleni operating in Germiston and Zonke Sizwe Township. That was also another ticking time bomb, because they were on the verge of exchanging gunfire and fights and all that. So we just started in the morning, 9 o'clock. We just completed now. Good agreement, end violence, unite the taxi industry, prioritize commuters. And that agreement, they are now going to give feedback to their communities. So it was one of the most explosive situations we were sitting on. And we have just sealed an agreement. That one went exceptionally well in the sense that we have an agreement signed by all parties, accepted beyond any dispute. And to that extent, I would like to say commuters who are traveling in Olieven, in city of Ekurhuleni, and in other areas where we had problems, we have stabilized the province now. And it was also important to start with the work of the Provincial Commission on Taxi Violence. The announcement of the commission, it's starting the work. The public announcements they've made has also stabilized the province. So where we are sitting now, we are ending the year on a positive side with respect to taxi violence, and we hope to open the year on the same note and deal with this violence once and for all.
All right, time constraints. There really is a lot to get to, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for the opportunity.
And all the best for the festive season.
And let's drive safely, respect the rule of the roads, and change our behavior.
Gauteng MEC for Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, joining us now live in our studio. We stay here in